Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you think it's more important to be needed at your company as an employee or as a manager or as a business owner? Or is it more important to be wanted? I have found that if you are somebody that thinks you need to be needed at your company, then you're setting yourself up for a trap. What do I mean by that? By a trap, I mean if you conduct yourself in a way at work where you're needed, whereas the business can't run without you, or your department can't run without you, or everybody comes to you for information because you have all the answers, you're the bottleneck because you're needed, that is something that will hold the company back as well as it will hold you back. It's much better to be wanted than to be needed. In fact, if you can become a person that is wanted, where people want you to be there, you actually are also needed. But you can be a person that is needed at your company, you're needed in your department, you're needed by your employees, but they may not want you. And this trap of wanting to be needed, it will hold you back, because eventually you can get to a point where you're so needed at the company that it can't run without you. Your time all of a sudden can become saturated by other people's needs, by questions that people have. If you're the only person that can solve problems, then that becomes a limiting factor on your business, on where you can go, as a person. You want to be somebody that can work yourself out of a job. And that may sound scary, but that is truly how you can become wanted at your company as an employee, as a manager, and even as a business owner. Is you need, whatever you're doing, you should be doing it with the thought process of, I'm going to work myself out of this job. I'm going to do this so that other people know how to do it. I'm going to put processes in place where I don't have to be physically present or there or be the one that has all the answers. I'm going to put a process or system in place so that this runs without me. And when you do that, when you are working with the mentality of, I am going to work myself out of this position, you're opening the door for somebody else to step into that. You're duplicating yourself, and you're freeing your time up to where you can probably do something that is more in line maybe with what you want to do. Maybe you could go on a vacation and the company will do just fine while you're away. You could be away from your phone. You could be not looking at emails or Slack messages. And when you do get back to your emails and Slack messages, you find out that everything is running smoothly, because your mentality was, I don't want to be needed. I want to be wanted. I'm going to put people in place. I'm going to do my job in a way that can be duplicated. And I had a conversation with an employee, and I first started talking to him about this. They were leading a department, and they were kind of complaining about, they were on a cruise, and they just kept getting, messages from employees reaching out to them, problems. And I said, you need to find somebody that can help you. And his initial reaction was, they were fearful. They were like, oh my gosh, if people don't need me, then I'm not going to be needed at the company. And when you tell an employee that, hey, you need to train somebody to help you out, if they're afraid of that, then you're going to have to help them through that, because they're going to become the bottleneck in whatever they're doing, and it'll stunt the growth of the company. It'll stunt the growth of that person. Wanting to be needed, there's a sense of pride, and it kind of strokes your ego when everybody comes to you, when you have all the answers. And although it may feel good, eventually you could be so consumed with other people's problems, and you're the only one that has the answers, that you have no time, you have no life for what you really want to do, or you have no time to do only what you truly can do. But the truth is, most of the things that you are doing, probably somebody else could do, but we're too afraid maybe to take the time to teach somebody, to learn about a process, to learn about a system, to where other people can help out, and you don't become needed as much at the company that you're working for. And that can be scary. That sounds like a scary concept. Well, if I work myself out of a job, I'm going to be out of a job. But the truth is, if you really work yourself out of a job, if you really work yourself with the mentality of I'm going to duplicate myself, I want to get to a point where this runs on its own, you become even more valuable. You become wanted. You become somebody that you can now, if you freed yourself up from what you're doing, you could put your hand to something else in the company that maybe really needs help. And since you freed up your time, you trained somebody else, you put a system and process in place where you're not the one that's needed for it to run, you can bring more value to wherever you're at. Bring more value to the company, bring more value to your department, bring more value to somebody else in the company, bring more value to you, to have some free time, some space, some breathing room, some margin. A lot of us, we have no margin because we are the bottleneck. We are needed so much for whatever we're doing to run, that we never get a chance to breathe or have, true rest or margin. So it's much better to be wanted than needed.